Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be discussing The Road by Cormac McCarthy and why you should read it if you haven't already. This book was originally published in 2006. It runs approximately 278 pages long, somewhere around there, so you can read it in about a week. It doesn't take too long to get through. And you can kind of see here with the copy that I have, the words are fairly big, so 200 pages will go by quickly. But this book also won a Pulitzer Prize, which should be a reason enough alone for you guys to go out and read it. But another thing that I like about this book is that Cormac McCarthy wrote this book by hand and didn't edit a single word. This is just how it came out. He just put this out and didn't really edit it, which is very, very surprising to me because it's such a perfect piece of fiction. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's very, very dark. It's depressing. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. But it's incredibly, incredibly powerful, and I want everybody to read it, so I can't wait to talk about it today. As always, I'll give you guys a quick summary of the book, spoiler-free, of course, so you guys know kind of what it's about. I will give you guys a list of films that I would recommend watching after you've read The Road, one of which will be a direct adaptation that I highly, highly, highly recommend. I'll provide you guys with some additional literature from Cormac McCarthy that I would highly recommend branching off to, because once you read one of his books, he will instantly become one of your favorite writers. I can almost guarantee it. He's one of my favorite writers for sure. And I will leave you guys at the very end with 3 of my favorite quotes from the book, and we'll discuss them a little bit. But before we get into all of that, I want to give you guys a brief little paragraph here on the man himself, Cormac McCarthy. Cormac McCarthy was one of the greatest and most mysterious figures in American literature. Born in Rhode Island and raised in Knoxville, Tennessee, he briefly attended the University of Tennessee before dropping out to join the Air Force, later returning to study literature and writing. For decades, McCarthy lived in poverty, avoiding public life entirely while crafting novels in total obscurity. His early works, The Orchard Keeper, Outer Dark, and Child of God, earned him critical admiration but little commercial success. That changed with All the Pretty Horses in 1992, which won the National Book Award and introduced his mythic biblical style to a broader readership. McCarthy is revered for his dense prose, minimal punctuation, and grand philosophical scope, blending classical tragedy with American dissolution. The Road represents a haunting departure, sparser, more intimate, and centered on the unbreakable bond between a father and son at the end of the world. Written after becoming a father late in life, it serves both as a farewell to an old world and a desperate prayer for the future. In his final years, McCarthy was celebrated as the greatest living American novelist, a claim few would dispute. So yeah, I hope that gives you guys a little bit more background on the man himself. Needless to say, he's one of the most enigmatic and interesting writers in American and world history, to be honest. And he's also one of my favorite writers of all time. Everything that I read about him, I find him more and more interesting, more and more cool. And yeah, he's written some of my favorite books of all time, The Road being one of them. We'll talk about my absolute favorite book from Cormac McCarthy in a couple days here. I have another video that I'm cooking up for you guys, but I want to get into a little paragraph, a little summary of what The Road is actually about. The Road follows a nameless father and his son as they journey through the ash-covered ruins of a dying America. The world has been consumed by an unexplained catastrophe. Sunlight no longer pierces the gray sky, civilization has collapsed, and the remnants of humanity have devolved into desperation and violence. Armed with nothing but a shopping cart, blankets, and a pistol with 2 bullets, a father and son traverse a lifeless landscape towards the sea, driven by hope, fear, and the need to carry the fire. A phrase that comes to symbolize everything sacred and human in a world without mercy. McCarthy's prose here is stripped to its elemental core, stark, lyrical, and hypnotic. Yet within its desolate silence lies overwhelming tenderness. This is a book about the sacredness of love in the face of extinction, about the thin and radiant line between good and evil, about how even the end of the world cannot extinguish the light of devotion. It is in every sense a modern myth. So yeah, I hope that brief summary gives you guys a better understanding of what this book is actually about. I wish I could just do a full analysis for you guys right now and dive into all the interesting and endlessly deep themes that are within this book. It's such a profound book. I will do that eventually. Don't get me wrong. Eventually, I will have a full book analysis video for you guys where we will go through this book chapter by chapter and pull it apart. But for now, I just kind of want to leave it at that because I want you guys to experience this book for the first time if you've never read it. It's truly special. The ending is not so much a twist ending, but it's a shocking ending, and I want you guys to go and experience that for the first time without me spoiling anything. So one thing that I will say, though, is the carrying the fire. That I think about that a lot. That's something that has stuck with me throughout the years. The first time that I read that book, that was something that really, it stung me because I was like, this is very, very true. And like I read at the end of that summary there, it's truly a modern myth. Like Cormac McCarthy weaved something together that is truly mythical and so profound. And I think that idea of carrying the fire, of carrying that hope, carrying that light, carrying humanity and love through the absolute darkness and dissolution of a world that has been destroyed, a world that's fallen. I think it's just such beautiful symbolism, and it's something that's really, really stuck with me throughout the years. So now I'm going to move on to a couple films that I would recommend. So I'll recommend for you guys 3 films today, the first of which is 2009's direct adaptation, The Road. It's a very, very faithful adaptation, and Viggo Mortensen, Aragorn, is absolutely brilliant in it. I forget the actor who plays the kid too, but he's also fantastic as well, and Viggo just gives such a raw and emotional performance, and it's fantastic. It's really a beautiful adaptation of the book, so I highly recommend watching that as well. Another film that came out just 3 years before The Road in 2009, it actually came out the same year The Road was written, or published, I should say. It's Children of Men. It deals with a lot of similar themes, a lot of very, very similar themes. It's not as apocalyptic. There's more people that populate that world, but it's very, very similar, very, very similar storyline, similar tone, similar themes. So if you like The Road, definitely check out Children of Men. It also has a one-shot in it. Alfonso Cuarón is such a fantastic director, but it has a one-shot take in it that you'll see when you watch the film. That's absolutely stunning. It still blows me away how he pulled that off. But anyways, the third film that I would recommend today is another film that is very, very similar in theme. Basically a copy of the storyline in a way. It's the Book of Eli from 2010. Again, another apocalyptic landscape. You have a man who's still trying to keep that hope alive, trying to carry the fire through, right? So the Book of Eli is another fantastic movie. Denzel Washington's so good in that one. So I would highly recommend those 3 films and pairing them with your reading of The Road. So I'm going to leave you guys with 3 of my favorite quotes from the book, and we'll discuss them a little bit. But right before I do that, I'm just going to throw up on screen for you guys right now the collected works of Cormac McCarthy. If you guys want to dive deeper into his works, I highly recommend all of his novels. I've read all of them at this point because I'm a massive, massive Cormac McCarthy fan. I haven't read his plays, his screenplay, or his short stories and essays yet, but I will get around to that eventually because, well, like I just said there, I'm a huge fan of this guy, so I highly recommend checking out his other works. So lastly, like I said, I'll leave you guys with my 3 favorite quotes from the book. So the first of which is, "If he is not the word of God, God never spoke," which is an absolute brilliant quote. I don't want to spoil the context of that quote, but you should definitely read the book and then see what I mean by that quote being very powerful. God is evoked quite a bit throughout The Road. I think it's one of Cormac McCarthy's more religious works, and yeah, that's just a beautiful quote from the book. My second favorite quote from this book is, "You forget what you want to remember, and you remember what you want to forget." And I think that's one that we could all, write on our walls, because I think we all kind of feel that way, right? We all have these memories that stick with us, that haunt us, that just don't go away. They're seared on our skulls. They don't leave. They're like scars. And I think we all have those. We all have those difficult memories that, I'm just saying this right now. I'm sure you have something that's popping up in your head that's making you feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? We all have those memories. And then there's also memories that you want to remember that you forget. Special moments with people, first kisses, first times doing things with your children, whether it's, teaching them how to ride a bike for the first time or whatever it might be, these special moments that are pure bliss when you're in them. But then, a couple months, couple years go by and you forget about them and they lose their power. But if you did remember them, if you could keep those memories in your mind all the time, I think it would make you a better person. But unfortunately, our mind grabs onto our mistakes, not the things that we do right? So it's a very powerful quote. I think we all can feel that quote. And the last quote that I'll mention today is my absolute favorite quote from the book. It's one of my favorite quotes from any Cormac McCarthy work. And it's, "Keep the little fire burning, however small, however hidden." And there's something truly powerful about that. There was a pope one time that said, I forget who it was, it might have been John Paul II, who said, "We need to defend the truth at all costs, even if it means our numbers are reduced to 12 again." And I found that to be such a powerful quote because the Catholic Church, which I'm a part of, has over 1 billion members. And this quote that he said, like, we have to defend the truth even if every single person in our church pretty much leaves it. We still need to defend the truth, even if we're reduced back down to the 12 disciples. And I think that's what Cormac was getting at here too, is like you have to keep the truth, the fire, the humanity, the love. You need to keep that goodness alive. Even when even when billions of people around you, even when there's billions of people gone, like in the story of the road, right? All of humanity's been wiped out. Even when everything's dark, there's nothing but darkness around you. No matter how small that fire is, you need to keep it burning. You can't let it go out. And this is the theme throughout the book. And it comes up in a multitude of different ways. And I don't want to spoil anything, like I said, but it comes up in a multitude of different ways that you can't go to the other side and let the fire out or extinguish it on purpose. You need to stay on that line, and you need to stay on the side of good. And I think that's what, there's a Solzhenitsyn quote, I think it's from the Gulag Archipelago, where he says, "The line of good and evil runs through the heart of every man," meaning that every single human being has infinite evil and infinite good within them. They have the potential for both. And you need to choose to keep the fire alive. You need to choose to keep it burning. It's a choice. That's the free will that we have been given. And I think that's what this story is trying to play out. It's trying to give us the worst possible situation. Desolate landscape, the gray sky, there's no sunlight, barely find food, everybody's starving, everybody's dead. The people who are still alive are hyper violent, they want to kill you. You can't paint a worse picture. Yet this father has a light. He has a fire that's burning and he needs to keep it alive, and that's his son. And it's so damn beautiful. Like I said, this story is a modern myth. It's so profound and so deep, and I love it on so many different levels. So I really hope you guys go out there and you read The Road. It's a fantastic, fantastic piece of work of fiction. I think everybody should read it at some point in their lives, especially fathers and especially young men. And yeah, I'll leave you guys with that today. So if you guys have read this book, or if I've convinced you today to go out and read it, come back to this video. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Do you have a favorite quote from the book? Do you have a favorite theme or something from the book that really grabbed you, that stayed with you? Let me know down below in the comments. I love discussing books with you guys. Just try not to spoil anything if there are other people perusing through the comments. But yeah, I love discussing books with you guys down below. So don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends to help boost this channel and the algorithm as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, it means the absolute world to me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.